Hey, it's Casual Jake bringing you another episode of Casual Corner, and of course we got some Pioneer gameplay today. Before we start, just remember to hit that like button and make sure you hit subscribe to know whenever I upload a new video. I guess to do that you have to hit the bell, so I guess do that too if you get the chance. Alright, so today we have two Izzet decks going head to head. One of them being my Izzet Drakes list, where I'm basically trying to get a bunch of cards into the graveyard, even delve them away for treasure cruise, just kind of control the board with board wipes and some damage spells, and then get out a big Crackling Drake to finish off my opponent in like a turn or two against my friend Matt's Izzet Artifact combo-y kind of deck. Essentially, they're trying to get a bunch of cheap artifacts onto the battlefield, fix their draws, whatnot, maybe even paradoxical outcome to draw a bunch of cards and kind of storm off and win with a big Aetherflux Reservoir. Anyways, I hope you enjoy the game, and I'll see you at the end for the wrap-up. Alright, well, you want to roll and see who's going first today?
Sure.
Let's see what we got. I got a 6.
I have 6 as well. Let's try it again.
Alright, let's try that. High roll. I got 10. So I'll go ahead and take the play. I'll start off with a Spire Bluff Canal, and I'll pass the turn.
Alright, so draw. I'll play a Steam Vents tapped and pass.
Alright, Steam Vents. I am going to a card that you should know from the last time you were on here, Otherworldly Gaze.
Yes, exciting.
Very
so
cool
I think
card.
That deck runs a couple copies of it and fills the graveyard very quickly, not for delirium like I was doing, but you know, get you what you need, and you're just generating so much card advantage off of Treasure Cruise that you can afford to throw a card away for some card selection.
For sure, and sure enough, I'm going to go put 2 Steam Vents in the graveyard and keep 1 on top, and I'll untap, upkeep, draw that card, and I'll play a Mountain, and I'll pass the turn.
Alright, so I'll draw, I'll play an island, I'm going to play Briber's Purse.
Ooh.
So it's a 0 mana when X artifact comes into play with X gems, 1 tap, remove a gem, target creature can't attack or block this turn. So, you know, slows down aggro a little bit and can also be played for 0 when you're comboing off.
Yeah, no, that's super interesting. I've never seen that. Interesting. That's cool.
Alright, I'll pass it to you.
Alright, I'm just going to go ahead and hit it with an Opt and see what's going on here. We'll scry. I'm going to put that to the bottom. So I'll untap, upkeep, draw. I did keep that on. I scryed to the bottom and then, yeah, drew the card. But speaking of just really good cards that you'll see played forever until they're banned, Expressive Iteration.
Alright. Of course, best played on turn 3, so you can capitalize on your land drop for the turn.
Yep.
A lot of people might think 2 mana, you know, played on turn 2, but you know, you're really losing out if you can't afford to wait an extra turn, because you're going to have a hard time using that 1 card that you have to reveal, unless, of course, you can make your land drop.
Yep, and like you said, I put a card into my hand. I'll put a Spire Bluff Canal into exile, but then, of course, I'll play it, and I put 1 to the bottom, and I'll pass a Rooney.
Alright, so draw. Okay, well, so the reason I'm playing red for the deck is Expressive Iteration, so I'll go 1, 2,
Again, I hear that's a
3.
good card.
I think so. So I'll put 1 in hand, I'll reveal a Witching Well, and put Expressive Iteration to the bottom. So Witching Well is 1 mana artifact, so I'll go ahead and play an island and then do that. It's blue, unusually, and I can scry 2 when it comes into play, and then pay 4 mana and sack to draw 2 cards. Scry 2, 1, 2, both to the bottom, and pass it to you.
Cool. In the end step, I'll go ahead and there's the Consider. So we'll see what's going on. I'll look at the top. I am actually okay with that, so I'm going to draw that. And I'll put Consider into the graveyard. And I will untap, upkeep, draw. And I'm going to go ahead and play Island. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pay 4 and maybe start getting that down with a Crackling Drake.
Alright, kind of the star of the deck here. Replaces itself. The 4 toughness is pretty valuable.
Yep.
And of course, we talked about it, dodging graveyard.
2, 3. Yeah, and it's a 4/4 at the moment, and it's going to draw me that card. So I'm feeling pretty okay, and I'll pass the turn.
Draw. Play an Inventor's Fair, which has got, you know, Metalcraft, that old ability that if you have 3 or more artifacts, it does something. So at the beginning of my upkeep, if I have 3 or more, I gain a life. taps for colorless, and I can pay 4 tap and sack it to tutor for an artifact. So gains me a little bit of life and can find the combo piece. So I'll also play another kind of important card for the deck, which is Inspiring Statuary, where non-artifact spells have Improvise, where I can basically use artifacts to help pay for the cost of my spells, but only for non-artifact spells.
Nice.
Pass it to you.
All right. I will untap, upkeep, and I will draw. I'm going to pay 2 for an expressive iteration.
Keeping the cards flowing there.
Yep, and growing that Drake up to 5 instants and sorceries right now. So we'll go 1, 2, 3. I'll put this into hand. I'll put Riverglide Pathway into exile, and I'll put another thing at the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and play this Riverglide Pathway on blue, and I will announce that I'm going to combat.
All right, so I'll bribe your Drake to not attack. It doesn't actually tap it.
Oh, it doesn't tap it. Yeah, you're right. It just makes
just
it to where it can't attack. Okay, that's a cool little card. And how many cards do I have in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I'm gonna cruise it. So we'll get that treasure cruise. Take me up to 6 instants and sorceries. And I'll go ahead and draw 3. Pass the turn, and I'm gonna put a lava coil into the graveyard. And I'm also going to throw this mountain in there. And
right,
I'll
so
go
you're
ahead
at
and
7,
pass.
I believe.
Yep, I'm at 7.
Okay, so upkeep, I'm going to gain 1 due to my Inventor Sphere.
Yep.
And I'll draw. Play a Golden Egg, which basically just as an artifact replaces itself. And, you know, I can crack it if I really need the mana. So
yeah.
I'll draw there. Island. And I'll go ahead and play a Mox Amber, which isn't doing a whole lot without me having any legendary creatures or planeswalkers, but is a really powerful card because you can, you know, it's a Mox, and who doesn't like that? But also, you know, has some utility just as a 0 mana artifact.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, I'll pass it to you.
Sounds good. I'm going to go ahead and, like you said, just keep the cards flowing. I'm going to go ahead and consider. I put a land into the bottom, and I'll draw. Well, let's go to combat.
All right, I will prevent him from attacking.
Okay, sounds good. I will say Fooey to that, and just play another Crackling Drake then.
All right, so it'll replace itself.
Yep, we'll go ahead and draw a card. I'm gonna play a Steam Vents. Let's play that. Untap, so I'm gonna shock that in. And I'm actually, because I'm wanting to get some more action here, I'm gonna pay 2 and play my 1 of Search for Azcanta. Brought into the deck originally because the person who took it to that tournament that ended up winning with it, I think they were missing cards from the deck and they couldn't get them on site.
They couldn't find any considers. None of the dealers had considers.
Right. I actually really like the Search for Azcanta, especially in a slower matchup like this. So I've kept it in the main board. So we'll see if it pays off. And I'll pass the turn.
Counting there, how many cards do you have in your graveyard?
At the moment, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, so set up to flip pretty quickly.
Yep.
Okay, so now we're gonna do the thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and tap 3 artifacts in a blue for Paradoxical Outcome.
Mm-hmm.
So what this does is returns any number of non-land, non-token permanents you control to their owner's hands, and you draw a card for each card returned this way. So I'm going to go ahead and return 4 cards.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to go ahead and draw me 4. And then I will take my turn with a handful of cards.
Yep.
So
I think you got plenty of options at this point.
Yeah, draw. And, you know, of course, the paradoxical outcomes can help you find other paradoxical outcomes and so on.
Right.
So play a golden egg to draw. So we'll go ahead and play another golden egg to draw. I'm going to shock a Steam Vents and go to 19.
All right.
Now, I'm not really sure how much removal or counterspells your deck has, but you know, can't get hit by this Crackling Drakes. So I'm going to go ahead and tap 3 artifacts and 1 more to engulf the shore.
Oh
So
no.
that bounces everybody that is toughness less than or equal to the number of islands I have, which is 5.
Wow, yeah, it's gonna get them both. Go back to the hand.
All right, and play out some more. So we'll go ahead and play a Mox Amber.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go ahead and do a Witching Well. So scry 2, 1, 2. I'll do one on top and one on bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'll go ahead and pitch an Inspiring Statuary and pass it to you.
All right, I'll untap and have a search for 𝐂𝐚𝐬𝐿 trigger. I'll look at the top card and decide if I want to keep it. I don't really care for it, so I'm just going to put it into the graveyard. And we're at currently 6 in the graveyard at the moment. So I'll go ahead and draw for turn. Replay our Crackling Drake, and we'll draw. Iterate. Exile this Magma Spray, and put this card in hand and this one at the bottom. I'll go ahead and play a island for turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Still at 8 cards in hand, so I'm gonna get past the turn and actually pitch a treasure cruise.
Wow, that's a show of confidence there. Who needs to draw 3 when you already have 8?
Yeah, I'm feeling great.
Sorry,
Yep.
gain 1 off my Inventor's Fair, and then draw. Okay, so let's see.
I'm hoping I'm over here hoping I can swing with this Crackling Drake soon as what I'm trying to get.
I'm gonna go ahead and play an Aetherflux Reservoir.
Ooh, that's a good one.
So, pretty expensive 4 mana, but the idea is if you can untap with it, then you're looking pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and tap 3 to play, and 1 blue to play the Antiquities War. Chapters 1 and 2, look at the top 5, get an artifact, reveal it, put it in your hand, and chapter 3 is all your artifacts have base, power, and toughness 5/5 until ended. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, none of those are artifacts, but
wow,
we kind of got the win on a suspend 3 here.
We love a whiff right there.
I'll go ahead and shock to 18. I'm gonna go ahead and play a Briber's Purse with 1. So this is my second spell. I'm gonna gain 2 more life, up to 20, and pass it to you.
All right, I will untap, search for 𝐂𝐚𝐬𝐿 trigger. I'm gonna go ahead and keep that there, and I will flip search for 𝐂𝐚𝐬𝐿 and draw that card. And let's get this show on the road. I'm gonna pay 2 for a Thing in the Ice. Let's go ahead and treasure cruise real quick. So I'll exile 1,
Sure,
2,
'cause
3,
why not?
4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, Ancestral Recall's pretty good, right? And that'll of course take off a Thing in the Ice counter, taking it down to 3.
And since we know you have the 𝐂𝐚𝐬𝐿's Fury, let's keep track of the instants and sorceries. So how many are you up to?
Yeah, I should still be at 10 if I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, 11. Yeah, so we're at 11 now. I'll go ahead and go to combat.
All right, so I'll bribe your Drake.
Okay, Drake is not attacking, but what will be happening is another Drake.
If the one was good, why not a second one?
Right, I'm over here thinking, hey, the more Drakes I have, it's either board wipe or bust, Sure. You can't bribe them all. I actually didn't play a land this turn, so I'll go ahead and play a Sulphur Falls. Take this Fiery Impulse to the graveyard. I'm gonna go to my end step. Sorry.
Sure.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm gonna do that, and I'm actually gonna put an Otherworldly Gaze into there. I can flash that back, of course, and now I'm at 13 instants and sorceries, and I'll pass the turn.
All right, so upkeep. I'm going to gain 1 from the Metalcraft. Right, Antiquities War. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll go ahead and reveal another Briber's Purse.
Oh no. Maybe you can bribe them all.
Normally would be looking pretty good here with the Antiquities War, ready to go with 7 5/5s, but of course the instant speed board wipe is something that can cause a little bit of an issue here. So we're going to try an alternate route. So I'm going to go ahead and start storming off.
Let's go for it.
I'll play a Briber's Purse. for 0 and gain 1. And I'm going to do a golden egg and gain 2 to 24 and draw. So I'll go ahead and tap 3 and 1 more to attempt to paradoxical outcome. And gain 3 up to 27. 1, 2, 3.
Wow. Yeah. I wish I had something to do for that, but that's gonna go ahead and be just fine.
All right, so this should probably be enough, but I'll go ahead and return Antiquities War and a number of other artifacts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards. And then here it's just a matter of playing them out. So I'll do Mox Amber, go to 31. Well, I think the game might end right now. So I'll do spells 4 and 5, so another 11 life. I'll go ahead and throw a sad Stone Coil Serpent out here for 0. It will die, but gain me 7.
And 1 more.
Yep, so there's my Witching Well to put me up to... let's see, 57 life, and then I'll ping you for 50.
Sounds good. Good game. And I'll start with Fabled Passage, one of the cool support your LGS ones, and I'll pass the turn.
All right, so draw. I'm going to play a Steam Vents tapped and pass it to you.
Cool. I'm just going to go ahead and crack the Fabled Passage, and I'm actually going to go get a mountain. I'm going to go ahead and go Thing in the Ice, put the 4 counters on, and kind of start the clock, have a little bit of a threat here potentially, and I'll pass.
All right, so go ahead and draw. Play an island. We'll just do one of our redraw cards, so playing Golden Egg.
Yep.
And draw, pass it back to you.
And I'll draw it myself. Liking what I have, I am actually going to go ahead and just draw and pass and just react here.
So we'll go ahead and draw. I'll play an Inventor's Fair. I'm going to go ahead and play a Briber's Purse for X's 2.
Oh, so you're going to pick for 2. I'm actually going to respond, but I want to Spell Pierce that.
All right, so it is gone. You know, probably don't see that too often. But...
You probably don't. I'm looking at my hand and I'm thinking, well, I got some other tricks up my sleeve, but I don't want to. You know, last game that was a big factor in keeping me down from getting in some damage. So I kind of want to get that out of the way if I can. Better here. Well,
go ahead and
never
play
mind.
Another one. This one's only got 1 gem in it though.
There you go.
So I'll pass it to you.
All right, I'll untap, upkeep, and draw. Mountain for turn. And we'll do what we do best, and we'll pass it.
So go ahead and draw. I did keep 1 Psy in here, so we're going to go ahead and throw him down and see if he resolves.
Okay, I will respond with a beautiful mystical dispute.
Okay.
So I'll go to 2.
Well, then I'll pass it to you.
I'll untap, upkeep, and draw for turn. Having 1 blue mana has kind of stopped me from cantripping and trying to get my stuff going. I like to hold up my reactions to you right now, so we're going to keep that going, and I'll pass to you.
Okay, so go ahead and draw. Try a Golden Egg.
Yep, that's good.
Draw. So here's a good one. I'm going to play a Mystic Sanctuary, which modern staple, or at least, I don't know, is it, did they eventually ban this, or is this still around?
I don't know. Yeah, I know it's a good card.
But it can't get the paradoxical outcomes back. It's going to come into play tapped here, but, you know, has a pretty high ceiling when it comes. Okay, and then I'll pass it to you.
Okay, now that we're a little bit more in the clear, I'm going to go ahead and consider. So we'll go down to 1, and let's look at what we got on top. I'm actually quite cool with that. I'm going to go ahead and draw that, and I'll untap, upkeep, and draw for turn. Island, pay 1 to opt it out, and on the cast of that, I will get to remove this counter and flip Thing in the Ice. Opt or resolve. I'll go ahead, scry, and draw. I'm good with that. I'll draw it up, and I will go to combat.
All right, well, I'll distract your horror with a shiny gem.
Oh no, he's paralyzed. Okay, then I'm good, and I'll pass the turn.
Okay, so I'll gain 1 from the Metalcraft to 21. So go ahead and draw. I'm going to go ahead and shock to 19. And the question was posed about 2 gems, but what about 4 gems?
What about 4 gems? I'm going to say that resolves.
All right. Well, then I'll pass it to you.
Okay, I'm going to pay 2 and... Okay, I read this right. Good. I'm going to Brazen Borrow, Petty Thefted.
Oh, no. So, Brazen Borrower, pretty strong. Can work on offense and defense there. Let's take a look. I think we'll go ahead and burn our Mystical Dispute.
Okay, sounds good.
I think that's much too much of a tempo loss to lose all 4 counters, and once it's down, not a lot of ways to interact with it. And of course, countering the Brazen Borrower will take out the fairy on the backswing.
Yeah, no, sounds good. I'll untap, upkeep, and draw. Say that I'm going to combat.
All right. Well, I've got gems, but nobody to give them to your guy at this point.
So we'll go 7 at you.
Okay, I'm at 12.
Sounds good. And then I'm actually going to tap it out, and let's go Crackling Drake. So the Crackling Drake's here. I'll go ahead and draw a card. And it looks like we are at 1, 2, 3, 4 instants and sorceries in the graveyard. So a 4/4 for 4. It's fair magic, right?
That draws card. And it's flying.
Well, nice, beautiful wall of text. And I'll pass it.
So I'll gain 1 to 13 and draw. Play a paradoxical outcome.
Ooh, yep.
Now, I like the Briber's Purse, kind of keeping the horror in play, so I'll just go ahead and do it for 3.
Sure.
So 1, 2, 3. We'll go ahead and play a Mystic Sanctuary to get the let's see, I could have a Paradoxical Outcome or the Mystical Dispute. I think maybe we'll try the Mystical Dispute instead. Actually, maybe before I do that, I'll go ahead and play a Witching Well so I can benefit the most from
There
this
you go.
cry.
So yeah, you can really see what's going on.
So 1, 2. We'll do 1 top and 1 bottom.
Okay.
And then go ahead and play our Mystic Sanctuary to bring the dispute back. Got 7 in hand, so I think that we'll just hang out for now and pass it to you.
All right, let's untap, upkeep, and draw. I'm going to go ahead and pay blue to Otherworldly Gaze.
All right, filling up the graveyard for the Drake there, possibly.
Yeah, so that's going to pick it up to 5, and then let's see what we got right here. And yeah, I'm actually just going to go graveyard, 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 which is a Consider, Otherworldly Gaze, and Expressive Iteration.
Nice, so 3 more in the graveyard.
So he's going to go up to 8, and then I'm going to go ahead and Ancestral Recall. 6, 7, 8. They're going to keep the Otherworldly Gaze in the graveyard for future stuff. And I'll show you my Treasure Cruise.
Yep.
Go up to 9, and we'll draw 3. River Glide Pathway. I'll go ahead and go to combat.
All right, well, I believe the Crackling Drake's the bigger threat now, so I'll prevent him from attacking.
Okay, yeah, that's at 9, so I'll go ahead and swing for 7 now.
All right, I'm at 6.
Say go. I'll go ahead and pass.
All right, untap. I'll gain 1 to 7 and draw the Mystical Dispute. I'm going to shock to 5. Well, the Briber's Purses have been doing pretty well, so we'll replay the one that ended up getting bounced to the hand for X's 4.
Yeah, I kind of hate them, but, you know, it is what it is. So I'm actually going to respond to that.
Right.
I'm going to try to basically end your turn here with a Mystical Dispute and see if you want to pay the 3.
Well, I will use the Mystical Dispute that I ended up putting on top.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about
dispute.
that. But, yeah, you can dispute my dispute right there. Still down a mana, so, but...
Indeed.
It's still essentially ending the turn. You're going to need both of those purses to survive.
Right, yeah, I had to leave mana up. Couldn't do the 5 because then I can't bribe both your guys. So
Sure.
I'll pass it to you.
All right. We'll untap, upkeep, and draw for turn. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and start with blue and a 1. And I'm going to flashback Otherworldly Gaze.
Sure.
So I can look at the top 3, and that goes to exile. So I'll put 2 lands into the graveyard, and I'll keep 1 on top. I will go to combat.
All right, so we'll bribe your guys.
Sounds good. I'm gonna pay. So after combat, I'll pay 3 for a Narset, Parter of Veils.
Ooh, that's gonna be tricky. So it prevents me from drawing more than 1 card a turn, which is pretty important in this deck.
Yeah, so glad to see that. I'm gonna go ahead and take her down to 3 and say, look at the top 4 cards in my library. I can reveal a non-creature card from among them, put it into my hand, put the rest into the bottom in a random order. So I'm gonna look here. Sure enough, there's the card that I kept on top. I'll put the other ones towards the bottom. And last but not least, I'll play a Sulfur Falls, just so you know I got interaction. And I'll pass the turn.
So I'll gain 1. All right, so I'll go ahead and draw. We are pretty sad. He knows that we've got some card draw in here, and Narset's turning that off. So we need to keep that 2 mana open.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I have to reveal my card from Narset. I haven't played Narset in a long time. Someone in chat just mentioned that up. Oryx, thank you for that catch. I did get a Treasure Cruise off of that.
A Treasure Cruise, all right. Well, so... But you can't draw more than 1 card a turn, right? Narset is
nope,
symmetrical.
opponent eats opponents. yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 5 in the yard right now.
All right. Of course, a little bit of a joke there.
Yeah, and I went over my head for a second. I was like, well, no, of course I can. And then I mostly because I'm dumb, I will forget stuff like that. So I was like, wait, no, did I not read Narset?
I guess I'll just have to pass it.
I'll go ahead and untap, upkeep, and I'll draw myself. Really, now that I'm thinking about it, I should have done probably what you were doing to me in a previous game, an Otherworldly Gazing on my upkeep. But I already drew, so I'm going to Otherworldly Gaze real quick. These 2 into the Graveyard Expressive Iteration and Spire Bluff Canal, and put this one on top. I'll go ahead and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I will Treasure Cruise.
Very good. So I'll go, and we can see the power of the Crackling Drake still staying as powerful as it was before, even though you're emptying out your graveyard.
Yep.
And you don't need to... I mean, this deck looks superficially like the Phoenix deck, but Phoenix deck really needs to do a lot of spells all in 1 turn.
Yeah.
And requires some setup, right? You need to draw the Phoenix, get it in the graveyard, play 3 spells, which of course it's very good at. But here you can kind of just do things as they're convenient for you. You know, play some spells, draw some cards. It doesn't have to be all 1 big turn.
I'm going to go ahead and shock in this Steam Vents, because again, my life total, I'm not too concerned right now. And I'll go to combat.
All right, well, we'll stay the course here and bribe your guys.
All right. And remind me how many cards...
Infinite.
Right. Remind me how many cards we have in hand?
I have 6.
You have 6. Okay. With that, I'm going to go ahead, pass my turn.
All right, so end of the turn, we're going to go ahead and crack the Inventor's Fair.
And actually have a response to that.
Oh, okay. You going to Tails End me?
I'm going to Kazul's Fury and throw my Crackling Drake at you.
No, I assume that's more than 6.
Oh, yeah, it's a 14.
Okay, well, good game.
Hey, good game right there.
I'm not sure exactly how I was going to get out of that when the Narset had come down.
Yeah, I was mostly waiting to see when it was safe to resolve a Kazul's Fury. So you tapping down at the end was like, cool, let's get it.
All right, I'll lead off with a Spire Bluff Canal and pass.
All right, perfect. I'll go ahead and draw. I'll start off with a mountain, and I'm going to pass.
So I will play an island. We have to think here. I think you can outthink yourself pretty easily. I'm just going to pass.
Okay, sounds good. I'm going to go ahead and draw for turn. I'm actually going to hit it with Sulfur Falls. There's that blue source. And yeah, I'll go ahead and pass the turn to you. I'm going to be reacting a lot as well on my end, it looks like.
All right, so go ahead and draw.
Yep.
Play an island. Kind of a game of who blinks first here.
Yeah.
I guess I'll lead with a Briber's Purse on 2.
Yep, that's good on my end.
All right, and then I'll pass it to you.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and Otherworldly Gaze on your end step.
Sure.
Get a peek at my top 3 and see what we're working with here. So let me see what I got. All right, cool. I'm gonna keep one on top and put a Consider and a Mountain into the graveyard, and then I'll untap, upkeep, draw. And let's go ahead and I'm gonna shock in the Steam Vents. Again, I'm not too pressured by your deck, so I like having the extra mana to maybe do even more reactions, or maybe even a reaction and a draw spell or something. And I'll go ahead and pass. You did blink first, but I didn't really punish you for that, so you get that down.
Go ahead and play a Sad Mystic Sanctuary.
Oh, so close.
Gonna have to come play tapped.
Yep.
But I guess I'll go ahead and pass it to you.
Okay. We'll hit it with an Opt.
Sure.
Okay, Scry, and I'm good with that one, so I'll draw that. And I'm gonna hit it with another Opt.
Yeah, so unfortunately, while I'm just kind of sitting here, you're able to keep your shields up, but also be building the graveyard.
Yep. That's going to go to the bottom. And I'll go ahead and draw. Untap. And on my upkeep, we could Otherworldly Gaze and really get the graveyard going. But right now we're still at 1, 2, 3, 4 already. I'm actually thinking that I like that plan. So I'm going to pay 2 on my upkeep and Otherworldly Gaze. This one's going to go on top, and I'll put a Consider and a Fabled Passage in the graveyard. And I'll go ahead and draw this one. I'll play a Fabled Passage. I'm feeling real good. I'll go ahead and pass the turn.
Go ahead and play a Golden Egg. Just kind of my version of setting up the replace itself, gets an artifact, and so on. So draw. I'm going to play an Inventor's Fair. One artifact away there, but eventually can be helpful, and I'll pass it to you.
Okay, I am going to Sulfur Falls for a Consider. I'm going to put that into the graveyard, a Steam Vents, draw. And then I'm just going to crack this Fabled Passage real quick and go get another red source, another mountain. Actually, I'm going to go get an island. I've decided I would like
double or triple red already.
And then we'll untap, upkeep, and draw. We're going to start getting our first threat down potentially with a Thing in the Ice.
I feel like he's representing some counter magic here. I do have 3 mana up. Feel like there might be a counter Mystical Dispute here, but it does play around like a Spell Pierce or something like that. So we'll go ahead and try Mystical Dispute.
Okay. I am going to respond with my own Mystical Dispute.
All right. So now we need to start thinking about what kind of resources we want to sink into this here.
Sure. How many cards are you left in hand? I'm at 4.
I have 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, of course, your cards in hand are deceptive because one of your cards can turn into 3 cards.
Sure.
I think that I'm out. So I'll go ahead and let your thing resolve.
Sounds good to me. And sure enough, we're gonna go delve in 6, 7, and 1 Steam Vents to Treasure Cruise, and we'll see what you got to say to that. All right, that one you're good with? Okay, that will happen.
So, a little bit more of a thought than just, aha, I can get them, because the 3 cards, how many cards can actually kill me? You got to think there's maybe only 8 or 9 cards in the whole deck, but I just feel like that's maybe at this point in the game too much of a tempo loss, especially when he has one of his threats down. So I'm good with that, and I'll pass. Okay, so go ahead and draw. I will play an island. I'll play an Inspiring Statuary.
Ooh, that's a lot of mana.
It is a lot of mana, but it makes all my other things a lot cheaper. So this deck requires a couple cards where you need to just kind of take a turn off to play it, but then really pay off in terms of mana. So I'll pass it to you.
Okay, sounds good. I will untap, upkeep, and I will draw. And I'm just going to go ahead and pay 4 and see what you got to answer to the Crackling Drake.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and spend another Mystical Dispute on that.
All right, well, we're getting through them.
That's right.
So unfortunately, it needs to enter the battlefield for me to draw, so I will not be drawing right there. I'll go ahead and pass the turn.
Mana being locked down means I get a turn off from the thing flipping.
Yeah.
So I will draw 1. Okay, so I'll go ahead and draw. Well, let's see. It's not a great one, but what I can do is tap 2 and 1 more. Go ahead and play a Sigh.
That's not bad.
You would prefer to have that when you don't see a thing in the ice across the table, but I'm going to go ahead and pass it to you.
All right, well, I'll untap, upkeep, and draw. So why not resolve a Crackling Drake?
Well, so I can respond here and throw 2 artifacts away to try to draw.
Oh, yeah,
but
for sure.
I think the chances of hitting some kind of interaction there are pretty low, so I think I'll go ahead and let that resolve.
Okay, I'll go ahead and draw for the turn. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pass it. Drake is at 8-4 at the moment.
I'll crack my Inventor's Fair to tutor up something.
Yep.
I don't really know what I'm going to get. Got to get something going here.
Sure.
So we could get another Briber's Purse and have that guaranteed to come down for the win condition with the Aetherflux Reservoir.
Yeah.
We're going to go big here and get the Aetherflux Reservoir. Give me a little bit of mana, so I'll tap 4. I'll play an Aetherflux Reservoir, so I've got 1 spell and a Thopter. And then I'll play a 𝐂𝐚𝐬𝐿, which is the second spell, up to 23, and another Thopter, so I'll pass it to you.
Okay, and no cards in hand?
Nope.
All right, I'll untap, upkeep, and draw. Spire Bluff Canal. A little sad, but that's okay. I'm going to play an Anger of the Gods.
So Sai is a 1/4, if that changes your play at all.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Perhaps you have 2 mana or 2 damage spell or something like that.
You know, I wish I did. Truly, I do.
Well, go ahead. You can take that back.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna be okay with that for this round, just because
does clear the Thopters.
It clears the Thopters. It gets my thing in the ice down another 1, and it fills my graveyard. So I'm actually gonna be okay with that. So I'll deal 3 damage to everything.
And you have, is that up to 9 cards?
And that is up to, I'm at 9 at the moment.
Okay, and you have how many cards in hand?
2, 3. I have 3 cards in hand.
So I could sacrifice the 2 Thopters to draw a card.
9.
I'm going to get bonked with the Drake. There's a little bit of a tension with the Drake and the thing in the ice. It's pretty unlikely that they're both going to be attacking anytime soon. So the question is, now that I'm empty-handed, do I want the card or do I want to save the 9? And, I don't think we're going to win with no cards in hands here.
Sure.
So I'll go ahead and sacrifice the 2 Thopters and draw a card.
Okay. Now we can go to combat and send that Crackling Drake for 9.
Okay, so I'm at 14.
I will pass the turn.
Got some good ones here. So we've got the Aetherflux Reservoir, potentially some chump blockers for the Drake, Briber's Purse for the thing in the ice.
Right.
So let's go ahead and play a Witching Well and get a Thopter.
Okay.
Scry 2. We'll do 1 top and 1 bottom and gain 1. I'll play a Golden Egg. So get a Thopter, gain 2. Does that resolve?
Yep, that's good for me.
So I'll draw. I think I'll pass. Got some defenses, got some artifacts.
For sure.
Chump block the Drake a little bit, so I'll pass it to you.
Sounds good. I will untap, draw for turn, play a Sulfur Falls. I'm going to delve away 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to tap 4. I really want to be getting some cards here, so I'm going to go for a Treasure Cruise.
Improvise a little bit here and pay for a paradoxical outcome. And that's going to gain me 1 off of Aetherflux Reservoir.
So what I'm going to do to that... Oh, man, you have so much...
I'm going to tap with the 𝐂𝐚𝐬𝐿, just in case it ends up needing to get bounced.
Yeah, that's good. Go for it.
We'll go ahead and bounce some stuff. Take the Briber's Purse, Golden Egg, Witching Well, 𝐂𝐚𝐬𝐿. So we'll go ahead and draw 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you get your Treasure Cruise.
All right, I'll take a counter off thing in the ice. This card's a little late, buddy. But that's what happens, I guess, sometimes. I'm going to go ahead and Expressive Iteration and see if we can just finish this game right now. So that'll bring my thing in the ice, and that'll flip it.
All right, so might as well cash in the 2 Thopters for a card.
Okay.
It's going to get bounced, so draw. and the Psi and the thing will get bounced.
Okay, so that'll...
Or sorry, the Crackling Drake.
Sure. And that's going to bring my Crackling Drake back as well. But I think that's okay right now. So I'll go ahead and look at the top 3. This one into hand. I'll put this one into exile and this one over here. And I'll go ahead and shock in the steam vents. And I'll go to combat and swing for a 7.
Sure, I'm at 11.
I'll go ahead and pass the turn.
Okay, so this is the time. So we're gonna try to go for it here. A Inventor's Fair, and then we're gonna start doing some improvising here. I'll go ahead and play a Psi and gain 1, 12.
Yep.
And we'll play a Mox Amber, make a Thopter, gain 2, 14. The Briber's Purses have already been worth their weight in proverbial gold here, so we can go ahead and put them down for 0, gain 3 to 17, 2, 3, get a Thopter. Here's another one, 4 to 21. Try to see if we can get to the 50 here.
Yep.
So 2, 3, 4. We've got the Antiquities War.
Okay, and I'm
down.
gonna respond to that.
All right, so I've got the life gain on the stack.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and try to stop a little bit of this, and I'm gonna go ahead and Mystical Dispute.
I think that's fine. I think that the 5 life will be sufficient. So it'll put me up to 26.
Yeah.
Do a Witching Well, gain 6 to 32. Do 1 top, 1 bottom. 2 mana for an egg. So gain 7 to 39.
Oh, we're getting close.
So draw. May be 1 spell short here because we played the land for turn. So we'll go ahead and play Expressive Iteration.
Yep.
Gain 8 to 47.
Still pretty close to 50. I would have to do a lot of work
close
to get you down.
All right, so 1, 2, 3. Put that to the bottom. Put that in hand, and we'll exile the island. Unfortunately, I think that's going to have to be it.
All right. Well, unfortunately, might be good enough because I'm going to untap, upkeep, and draw. I'm going to go ahead and hit it with, let's go, another Thing in the Ice. This is so hard. Yeah, I'm going to have to pass the turn and see. I think I might have a little something, but I think you still pretty much are in a really good spot. So let's see what happens.
Right. Okay, so I'll gain 1 to 48 off of the Inventor's Fair.
Sure.
Do have at least 3 artifacts, so I'll draw. And now we just need to think about how we can lose. So I'm going to go ahead and Expressive Iteration, gain 1.
Okay.
So let me know if you have any kind of interaction
That's
here.
good for me.
Reveal Mystic Sanctuary, put a Paradoxical Outcome in hand and
good.
bottom. So let's see. Again, just thinking about how could we lose here. So we'll play a Mystic Sanctuary, put a Mystical Dispute on top.
Sounds about
we'll
right.
Go ahead and play a Briber's Purse, gain 2.
And with that on the stack, the only thing I could really do, again, playing throwouts, is I'm going to Petty Theft, targeting Aetherflux.
Okay, so with the life gain on the stack?
Yes.
Okay. Well, so we're going to, let's see, tap 2 and a blue to Mystical Dispute, really just looking for the life here.
Yep, and that's
so we got a 2 life and a 3 life on the stack.
I mean, yeah, because even if I did pay the 3, you know, I would pay the 3, Mystical Dispute would gain you the life, and with the Petty Theft on the stack, you could just get me for 50, correct? No?
Let's make sure that's right here. So the Mystical Dispute, I mean, I don't actually care about the countering your Brazen Bar. You would need to respond to my 3 life gain.
Right, and that's something that the only thing I could do is, and you know, again, why not play to our outs? Let's see what happens. I'm gonna Kazul's Fury and throw my my Awaken Horror at you for 7.
Well, we've got quite a exciting game here, so I think I'm going to respond to that. So we've got 4 or 5 things on the stack.
Yeah.
So I'll tap 3 and a blue to paradoxical outcome in
There you
game 4.
go. Yeah, and with that, I can't respond any further, so.
All right, well, exciting conclusion there.
Yeah, so you'll get your 4 life, and then Aetherflux me to death.
Yep, with a fatal 𝐂𝐚𝐬's Fury on the stack.
That's funny, yeah. Well, I don't even know if it was fatal for you. I mean, I would just be doing 7 damage.
Well, it does cost the 50 life to do the Aetherflux.
Yeah, it would have gotten you down pretty good. So, very, very good game, man. Really enjoyed that. I think both decks performed well, and could have gone either way. So.
We could see some careful play getting rewarded kind of on your side, being really patient in game 2, and then, both of us game 3 there, you got to think like, how do you lose? How do you, play your outs as much as possible? So
right. I was definitely wishing I got a Narset down early so that we didn't have to worry about those paradoxical outcome kind of turns, but it just happens.
The 3 mystical disputes, and of course, once things came down, it was a lot harder to interact with them. So you got to think, how do you want to spend your answers that are very limited?
For sure. Very good game. I had a lot of fun with that. And Matt, thanks for coming on the channel again, and hopefully we'll make this a regular thing. Can you say intense games? Those were some really close ones there. I was really glad that we got to go into that game 3 and really test the decks out, really show how evenly stacked they were, but Matt did get the W on that one. What do you think of the decks? I know I'm going to have the deck list down in the comments. I'd love for y'all to check them out. Tell me what you think of the deck. Tell me what you think of the new overlay. I got a lot of good feedback off of Reddit and in the YouTube comments, so leave a comment telling me what you think of the gameplay, of the overlay. I love to hear it so I can always make this channel better. Again, if you get the chance, you really like what you're going on, like that video, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. It goes a very long way in supporting the content. I'm 𝐂𝐚𝐬𝐿 reminding you, don't forget to play your land drops, and I'll see you next time.